Hello guys, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my new series of uncomfortable conversations with me. I want to really come in and start talking about, not talking, but talking, addressing some really issues that we all suffer with. And today's topic that I've chosen is, why is it so hard to identify emotional abuse? For those of you joining in, guys, I've started to write a blog as well. Click the link in my bio and it will lead you to my blogs. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Having said that, coming back to my topic. So today's topic is how hard it is to identify emotional abuse. I know for victims, one of the first questions they ask themselves when they realize that they are in an emotionally abusive relationship is, why me? How could this happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? Why? Because I was a loving partner. I gave my everything to this partner. And what did I get in return? Guys, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of self-work and self-understanding to identify that you are or were in an emotional abusive relationship. There is so much that goes into understanding where it stems from in our lives. And I wanted to take the opportunity to come in and speak about it. One of the things that I really wanted to spot on first is that it's so hard to identify emotional abuse because the victim is too busy blaming him or herself. They think that, oh, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe, you keep on coming up, like you keep on rationalizing, right? You keep on rationalizing, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I've done something wrong. Maybe I did something and that's why I deserve this. And it's the easiest way, right? You just want to take the blame, right? It's just like, okay, I'll take the blame, maybe there's something wrong. But it goes much, much deeper than that, guys. Although I believe that anyone and everyone can fall into becoming a victim of emotional abuse. But there are some basics that we need to understand. Why actually do some people fall victims? There are two categories that I thought were most important to understand, that these category people do fall into becoming victims of emotional abuse. And one of them is your self-esteem. People who suffer with low self-esteem, people who struggle with low self-worth. And it is something you really have to understand. Why do I suffer with low self-esteem? What caused me to have low self-esteem? You have to really dig in deep and ask yourself those questions, guys. You have to ask yourself, where did this come into me? Why do I suffer from low self-esteem? And it's more like connecting with your inner self and your inner child and asking, what happened in my childhood that I came to a point where I started to suffer with low self-esteem? Because guess what? You're not born with low self-esteem, right? It is conditioning, environmental conditioning that leads you. Maybe the way your parents treated you, right? Maybe your parents were too busy to give you time to listen to you. Or maybe your parents were too busy criticizing you throughout your childhood. That led you to believe that you are not enough, that you need to change. You needed validation, you needed emotional stability, and that was not given to you while you were growing up. And we're not talking about blaming here. We're just talking about getting to the root of where does low self-esteem come in from. So you have to do these deep questions. You have to, I know that I talk a lot around questions, guys. I think that if we were to ask the right questions, we get the right answers. Because if we get fixated on the wrong questions, we're going to get the wrong answers. And if we get stuck with the same questions, we're going to get the same answers and the same results. So it's really important to ask ourselves the right questions. Don't get stuck in, am I overreacting? Is something wrong with me? Because guess what? There is an inner voice, right? When you're in an emotionally abusive relationship, there is an inner voice. While you're rationalizing on the surface, your inner voice, your gut is telling you there is something massively wrong here. There is something wrong here. Listen to your gut. Your gut never lies. Listen to your feelings. Your feelings never lie. Don't ignore them. Don't suppress them. Understand these feelings. Ask yourself why you feel a certain way. You are not overreacting. Okay? I want you to understand this. You're not overreacting. You're not oversensitive. You're not wanting drama. That's not you. Okay? Now let's come to what is emotional abusive relationship. What is it? Like, how would you define it? And I put it down in my notes how I see emotional abusive relationship, and I would define it where a person wants to control you. They want to be in power, and they want to use that power, they want to misuse that power against you to get their emotional needs fulfilled. That is what emotional abusive relationships may look like, and that is my understanding on this. So you have to understand that you may be an empath, right? And empaths tend to be more forgiving, more understanding, more compassionate, right? And empaths may tend to also suffer from low self-esteem, right? What else? Okay. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about was, this is something very common actually, and that is the love bombing. A person who is emotionally abusive, guys, is very smart. The abuser are very smart. They play well calculated steps. They take well calculated steps in engaging with you. You see, in the beginning, it's very subtle and you cannot pick on it. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're sitting with the abuser and they remark about you in a mocking way. But it's done really like I'm just joking. I'm just joking with you, right? And you think, yeah, maybe they're just joking, right? And you laugh with them. There. They know they got it. They know that, okay, now I got her. Okay, now they go to the next level. So it's really subtle. They build on it. They build on sucking your esteem slowly and gradually. And actually when you realize you've hit rock bottom, right? You're like, what's going on? You can't wrap your head around what's going on. So in the beginning, why do you struggle so much in identifying or understanding? Because while I said one of the things, you may be struggling from low self-esteem, and you think that if you were to love someone, they will complete you, they'll make you feel whole, right? And the other thing is love bombing. So what is love bombing? Love bombing is the initial. Guys, I want you to just take a minute. When you meet someone, I'm not talking about any emotional abuse or but when you meet somebody for the first time, right? You try to be your best, right? You try to show your best. You try to present yourself in a good way, right? Right? So when you encounter abuser of emotional abuse, they are playing their best in the beginning. Not just that, they overdo it. They make you feel like you are the only thing that matters to them, right? They're expensive gifts, they charm you, and their charm, oh my God, their charm is like everybody around you are like, wow, right? So they know how to wrap you around your fingers. And that is why you become a victim. I want to come in and really just shed some light on this topic, because I think a lot of victims stay stuck with this, that why me, what caused this? So these are some of the tips I wanted to come in and share with you, why it happens to you. First of all, you need to understand what the abuser does to you is nothing to do with you. There is nothing wrong with you, okay? There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. What the abuser is doing to you. You don't deserve to be abused. You do not deserve to be abused. I'm going to say that again. You do not deserve to be abused. There is no way you can validate somebody abusing in any form. So you have to understand, I don't deserve to be treated like this. There is no way that I should be treated like this. You really have to understand. You cannot sit and say, I'm going to reason why I'm abused. Oh, maybe I did that. Maybe I provoked them. No, you don't deserve it. Nobody deserves to be abused in any form, in any shape, in any form. You are whole, you are enough, and you're worthy. And definitely you deserve to be respected. So you need to really internalize that, and you need to work on building that. Building self-love, building self-respect, building self-confidence, building self-esteem. You have to work on that. If you think right now, no, I deserve it. I deserve that insult from that, or I deserve to be belittled, then you need to take a step back and really do some self-reflection, because I'm here to tell you, no, nobody deserves that. There is no justification for being emotionally abused. Emotional abusers are basically bullies. They're just basically bullies, really toxic bullies. So you really have to understand this, guys. I really wanted to come in and share this compassionately with you, because I know I get a lot of DMs and people say, you know what, this is a little bit, and then they say, you know what, I don't want to talk to you because I think I deserved it. No, you don't deserve this. You absolutely don't deserve this. You have to get to the root cause. Why is this happening to me? While this is true, you can be love bombed, and the abuser are, their tricks are very well calculated, so you really don't understand. Like I said, they're very subtle. They come in very slow and gradual forms, right? But I really want you to take this, because if you're not married right now, for example, or if you're looking in other dynamics, I'm not talking about a husband, wife, any relationship, whether it's parent-child, whether it's friendship, whether it's working, you do not deserve to be insulted, belittled. No way. You have to set a boundary. You have to set a boundary for yourself and say, guess what? Yes, I've made a mistake. Yes, I've made a mistake 2 times, 3 times. But I do not deserve to be treated as a lesser person. No way. You have to chin up. Put your shoulders back and say what? I am worthy and I am enough. And that should be good enough for you. Okay? People need to be treated with respect. Nobody was put on earth to be treated lesser than somebody. So you really have to work on your self-esteem, your self-worth, and where it's all stemming from. Yes, absolutely. We can be humble and say, yes, absolutely. You have to be humble. I'm not telling you to become arrogant. I'm not telling you to misbehave. No. I'm telling you to know where you have to draw the line. Learn how you're going to create boundaries for yourself. No, it is absolutely okay to say no. To say, I don't know. And not be insulted on that. Not be insulted on that because you don't know or you're trying to figure it out. Guys, I want you to take this from me today. And just go and journal. And just go and do some self-reflection with yourself and ask yourself, when did you sit and think to yourself, today I was treated like shit. It's okay because I deserved it. And then see why you chose that statement for yourself. Where is the compassion? If I were your friend and I came and told you, this person has done this to me, you would show me what? Compassion, love, understanding, and tell me that I didn't deserve it, right? I want you to take that and give it to yourself. Tell yourself that you do not deserve to be abused. No way. You are worthy. You're enough. Guys, I hope that was some lesson you can take from me today. I will be doing many such uncomfortable conversations with you in the future. Having some short conversations, but getting the message across. Making you think, really, that's the point. Making you think Why? Okay. On that note, I'm sending you so much love. You're amazing. Look at me, guys. You are amazing. You are worthy. You are loved. And you are enough. Take good care of yourselves. On that note, I am going now. Allah Hafiz.